Oxygen is the element that is essential for life. Most living things need it to survive. The function of oxygen in the body is during cellular respiration, where cells use oxygen to break down sugar to produce ATP, which supplies our cells with energy, yet simultaneously, it is killing us.
We the veterans, never be lesser than both African and Native Americans. Olmecs predating the presidents. You ain't know that nobody is better than first resident. Here before the settlers, about to set the record shit and make a new regiment. New weapon, tell me who better than no one. We got links to Etherians. We out of this world. Spaceships.
Did you know that planet Earth, which should be called planet water, for there is more water than land? Its atmosphere is about 20% oxygen. Most of the air that we breathe is actually nitrogen, which makes up approximately 78% of the atmosphere, and the remaining percent is made up of primarily argon gas and other trace elements. This brings us to the reality that oxygen was not always in the Earth's atmosphere. In fact, for the first billion years, life on this planet consists of mainly anaerobic fermenting bacteria. In other words, the very first living things on Earth, from which all organisms descended, including us, did not need oxygen to survive. Therefore, we now have to deal with the harmful side of oxygen, of which our ancient ancestors did not. So, where did the abundance of oxygen on Earth actually come from? Well, to breathe you must inhale and exhale. The root word here is actually hail, which means health. Therefore, to inhale is to take in health, and to exhale is to release health. When we inhale oxygen, the iron in our hemoglobin acts as a filter for the negative effect of oxygen. When we exhale, we give off carbon dioxide, the byproduct of something being burned, which is also a poison that is slowly filling the Earth's atmosphere as well. Likewise, when the new growth of a bacteria called cyanobacteria were inhaling Earth's early atmosphere, its exhale was actually oxygen. Due to the abundance of this gas filling Earth's atmosphere, the anaerobic fermenting bacteria were forced to move deeper into the mud and other substrates of the Earth to escape this gas, which was toxic to them. Cyanobacteria are aquatic and photosynthetic, that is, they live in the water and can manufacture their own food. They are quite small and usually unicellular and grow in colonies large enough to see. They are one of the oldest known bacteria, having existed for billions of years, and it may be surprising to know that they are still around today. They are one of the largest and most important groups of bacteria on Earth. In fact, they are tremendously important in shaping the course of evolution and ecological changes throughout Earth's history. And as I stated, the oxygen atmosphere that we depend on today was generated by cyanobacteria. Before that time, the atmosphere had a very different chemistry. On planet Earth today, the base element for strength is iron, which is the 26th element. Now, iron is an important component of hemoglobin, which is the substance in your red blood cells that carries oxygen from your lungs to transport it throughout your body. Hemoglobin represents 2/3 of the body's iron. If you don't have enough iron, your body can't make enough healthy oxygen carrying red blood cells. Now, why am I speaking about iron? Because its relation to oxygen is crucial to our survival. And as I stated prior, if you don't have enough of it in your blood, then your body cannot make healthy oxygen carrying red blood cells. You see, oxygen as a single element is unstable. Thus, oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere today exists as a diatomic molecule called O2, which is stable. You may be familiar with that brown fruit on the kitchen table you'd rather not eat. When the soft insides of fruits are exposed to oxygen in the air, they become oxidized, causing them to break down and turn brown. This process is very similar to rusting. It's called oxidation. Oxidation is the loss of electrons. This is the dangerous side of oxygen. You see, oxygen is a needy element that follows the octet rule. The octet rule in chemistry is a group of 8 electrons occupying a single shell in an atom. Now, being that each oxygen atom only has 6 electrons in its outermost shell, in order for it to satisfy its need for completion, it must bond with electron-donating atoms. So from time to time, oxygen may have an unpaired electron, and at that point, it becomes what is called a free radical, which means it will react with any atom or cell or even your very DNA, affecting the fundamental nature of each it comes in contact with, and this will lead to your death. So when iron is oxidized, a rusting happens inside the body. Oxygen steals electrons from iron easily. The oxygen then gets reduced while the iron gets oxidized. The result is a compound called iron oxide. which is a fancy word for rust. Keep in mind that iron is in hemoglobin, the red protein responsible for transporting oxygen in the blood. So when it becomes oxidized, the protein changes shape, which then notifies your immune system to destroy it. When cell walls are oxidized, they become less permeable, meaning this will reduce the amount of liquid and gas that can pass through the cell walls. This will then set the program for that cell's death. When your DNA is oxidized, it causes a mutation that could lead to cancer and eventually death. In conclusion, to sustain normal function, the percentage of oxygen required to sustain life falls within a very small range. According to OSHA, the Occupation Safety and Health Administration, the determined range of oxygen in the air for humans run between 19.5 and 23.5%. So you see, not enough oxygen, then your cells function incorrectly. And on the other hand, the constant inhaling and processing of toxic oxygen is killing you. It accelerates your life force as you are aging more quickly. To combat oxidative stress on the body, you must take in substances that inhibits oxidation and counteracts deterioration, such as antioxidants. Anti meaning against, and oxidants meaning the oxidizing agent that comes in contact with oxygen. You must take in at least 500 milligrams of vitamin C or E daily. This will remove potential damaging oxidizing agents in your body. Thanks for listening. I am Kefre, and this is Back to the Basics.